You're not the kind of man I'd raise kids with, she said, loudly, right over the braised short ribs. I didn't flip the table. I didn't scream. I just wiped my mouth, stood up, and left. She thought she was establishing dominance. She thought she was playing 4D chess while I was playing checkers. Honey, she didn't realize I had already seen the board, burned the pieces, and was halfway out the door with the rulebook. If you think you know where this is going, trust me, you don't. Because what I found on her laptop wasn't just cheating. It was a corporate merger of betrayal so calculated it would make a CEO blush. Let me back up and tell you how a simple electrician ended up dismantling a corporate empire from his truck. I'm 32, a guy who works with his hands. I run my own electrical business here in Chicago. I'm not wearing tailored suits or sipping espresso in a high-rise. I'm in attics, I'm in crawl spaces, I'm dealing with spiders and insulation and old knob and tube wiring that looks like a fire hazard waiting to happen. It's gritty work. I wake up at 4:30 a.m., my knuckles are permanently scraped, and yeah, sometimes I come home smelling like drywall dust and sweat. But I built this business from zero. I own my house, I own my truck, and I answer to nobody but the code inspector. My fiance, Vanessa, she was the complete opposite. 29 years old, gorgeous, ambitious, and working as an executive assistant at a massive logistics firm downtown. We'd been together 3 years. I thought we were the perfect balance. I was the ground wire, she was the current. I kept us stable, she kept us moving, or so I thought. The shift happened about 6 months ago when she started working for a new VP. Let's call him Sterling. Sterling was everything I wasn't. Older, silver fox type, drove a Porsche, wore suits that cost more than my first van. Suddenly, Vanessa wasn't just tired after work, she was inspired. She started using words like synergy and optics at the dinner table. She started making little comments about my work clothes. Do you have to leave your boots by the door? They look dusty. Maybe you should wear a polo shirt to the movies instead of a flannel. It's just better optics. I brushed it off. I figured she was leveling up in her career and just wanted me to look the part. But then came her sister, Chloe. If Vanessa was the fire, Chloe was the gasoline. Chloe is a 35-year-old lifestyle coach who's been divorced twice and thinks men are just accessories you upgrade like an iPhone. Every Thursday, they'd have sister night at our place. I'd be in the den, and I could hear them through the wall. You can't settle, Ness, Chloe would say. You're nearly 30. You need a provider, not a laborer. Look at Sterling. That's a man who knows what he wants. I tried to ignore it. I loved Vanessa. We had a wedding planned for June. Deposits were paid. Save the dates were on fridges across 3 states. You don't throw that away over some eavesdropping, right? But the gut feeling, that instinct you get when the air pressure drops before a storm, it was screaming at me. Which brings us to the dinner party. It was hosted by one of Vanessa's work friends, a woman named Jessica, who lives in one of those sterile white-on-white condos where you're afraid to sit down. The guest list was all corporate types from her firm, 6 couples. I was the only guy there without a tie. I wore my best button-down, clean jeans, fresh boots. I tried, I really did. The conversation was excruciating. They talked about Q3 projections, market volatility, and their summer houses in the Hamptons. I sat there nodding, eating tiny appetizers that tasted like cardboard and money. Then Sterling walked in. He wasn't with his wife. He was flying solo that night. And the way Vanessa lit up, it was like someone flipped a breaker in her chest. She sat up straighter. She laughed too hard at his jokes. She kept touching her necklace. We were halfway through dinner when Jessica asked the question. So Jack, Vanessa, the wedding is coming up. Are you guys planning on kids right away? It was a softball question. Easy, standard. I opened my mouth to say, we're thinking about it, when Vanessa cut me off. She took a sip of wine, looked at Sterling, not me, Sterling, and said it. Oh, God, no. I mean, Jack is great for right now, but I'm not sure he's the kind of man I'd raise kids with. I need someone with a bit more ambition. We're still figuring that part out. The silence was instant. It was violent. You could hear the hum of the refrigerator. The guy next to me stopped chewing. Jessica looked like she wanted to crawl into her own centerpiece. Vanessa just smirked, twirling her wine glass, waiting for me to, what? Laugh? Agree that I was just a placeholder? In that split second, I saw her clearly for the first time. The disdain, the calculation. She wasn't just venting, she was auditioning. She was signaling to Sterling that she was available right there in front of me. I didn't give her the satisfaction of a fight. I placed my napkin on the table. I stood up. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "You're absolutely right, Vanessa. You should figure that out. Good luck." I walked out. I heard her gasp, heard a chair scrape, but I didn't look back. I got in my truck, drove 2 blocks away, and pulled over because my hands were shaking so bad I couldn't grip the wheel. If you're already shook, hit that like button because I haven't even gotten to the worst part yet. What I found next makes the dinner party look like a Disney movie. I didn't go home. I went to my shop. I sat in my office surrounded by wire spools and blueprints, and I let the rage cool into something useful: curiosity. See, Vanessa and I shared a laptop for wedding planning. I had the password. I logged into her email. I know, invasion of privacy. But she just publicly humiliated me, so all bets were off. She hadn't logged out. I went to the drafts folder first. Nothing. Then I checked trash. Nothing. Then I searched Sterling. Bingo. Hundreds of emails going back 4 months, and they weren't about logistics. From Sterling, "You looked incredible in that meeting today. It's a crime you're going home to him." From Vanessa, "He's just so simple, Sterling. He comes home with dirt under his nails and wants to watch TV. I feel like I'm suffocating. I need a man who challenges me, like you." It got worse. They were planning a business trip to Miami next month, the same weekend as my bachelor party. But the real kicker, the exit strategy. Vanessa had written an email to her sister Chloe, titled "The Timeline." "I can't leave him yet, Chloe. The lease isn't up until August, and I need him to pay for the car repairs. Plus, Sterling's divorce isn't final for another 6 weeks. I'm going to provoke Jack, make him feel small. If I can get him to blow up or cheat, I can play the victim and leave without looking like the bad guy. Sterling says I need to protect my reputation." She was trying to make me leave. The dinner party comment? It wasn't a slip-up. It was a tactical nuke designed to make me explode so she could run to Sterling crying about her abusive, unstable, blue-collar fiancé. I sat back in my chair. It was 3 a.m. I felt sick, but I also felt clear. She wanted a breakup. I'd give her a demolition. I didn't go back to the apartment that night. I stayed at the shop. The next morning, Vanessa was blowing up my phone. "Babe, come home. You're overreacting." It was a joke. "Why are you being so sensitive?" I ignored her. I called my landlord. Luckily, the building manager is a guy I've done work for. I showed him the emails, just a peek. He let me off the lease immediately. For the next 3 days, I played the ghost. I waited until I knew she was at work. Then I went to the apartment with 3 of my guys. We moved me out in 2 hours flat. Furniture, clothes, the TV I bought, the espresso machine she didn't know how to use, gone. I left nothing but her clothes and a single envelope on the kitchen counter. Inside the envelope, I didn't write a tearful letter. I didn't write, "Why did you do this?" I printed out the timeline email. I highlighted the part where she called me simple and the part where she admitted to using me for rent money. And on top of it, I left a note. "You wanted someone with ambition? I had the ambition to leave you before you could finish your plan. Good luck with the lease. I'm out." But I wasn't done. See, Sterling worked for a publicly traded company, a company with a very strict code of conduct regarding executives sleeping with subordinates, especially when said executive is currently navigating a messy divorce where his wife's lawyers are looking for any leverage. I found Sterling's wife on Facebook. Her name was Eleanor. She looked nice, sad, but nice. I created a burner email address. I scanned the most incriminating emails, the ones proving the affair, the misuse of company funds for their dates, and the dates that overlapped with Sterling's late nights at the office. I sent them to Eleanor with the subject line, "You deserve to know the truth." Then I CC'd the company's HR department and the board of directors. Make sure you're subscribed because the update I'm about to drop is going to make you scream. The fallout was instantaneous. I was staying at my buddy Mike's place, sleeping on his couch, when my phone started vibrating off the table. 14 missed calls from Vanessa, 7 missed calls from Chloe, 3 missed calls from an unknown number, probably Sterling. I listened to one voicemail from Vanessa. She sounded like a drowning rat. "Jack, what did you do? HR is here. They're escorting Sterling out of the building. My email is locked. You have to tell them you made it up. You're ruining everything." I blocked the number. Here is what happened in the next 48 hours. According to Jessica, who texted me, by the way, to apologize for the dinner party and spill the tea. Sterling's wife, Eleanor, she went scorched earth. She had a prenup that had an infidelity clause. With the proof I sent, she locked Sterling out of the accounts within hours. The company, they don't play around with liability. Sterling was fired for cause, gross misconduct. That means no severance, no golden parachute, nothing. And Vanessa, she was fired too, fraternization policy violations. But it gets better. Since I pulled my name off the lease, she was solely responsible for the rent on our expensive apartment. She didn't have a job, she didn't have a fiance, and her rich provider, Sterling, he was currently trying to find a lawyer who would take his case without a retainer. Update 1. 2 weeks later, I'm living my best life. I found a small bungalow on the edge of the city, a fixer-upper. I'm rewiring it myself. It's peaceful. Vanessa tried to show up at my shop. My foreman, Big Dave, who is 6'4" and looks like he eats wrenches for breakfast, stopped her at the gate. She was crying, screaming that I legally owed her money for the wedding deposits. I didn't. Everything was in my name. Dave told her to leave or he'd call the cops for trespassing. She left. I heard from a mutual friend that she had to move in with Chloe. Apparently, Chloe isn't so keen on sister night now that Vanessa is sleeping on her couch and eating her food without contributing a dime. Update 2, the legal action. I got a letter from a lawyer representing Vanessa. She was threatening to sue me for invasion of privacy and defamation regarding the emails I sent to the board. I took the letter to my lawyer, a guy who handles construction contracts but hates bullies. He sent back a one-page response. Mr. Jack Miller has retained the original digital copies of all correspondence, which proves the truth of his statements. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Furthermore, if you pursue this, Mr. Miller will countersue for the financial damages incurred from the wedding deposits, citing fraud and bad faith. We welcome a discovery process where we can read these emails in open court. We never heard from them again. Update 3, the final nail in the coffin. It's been 4 months. I'm dating again. A nurse I met while doing work at the hospital. She's kind, she's funny, and when I told her I was an electrician, she asked if I could teach her how to change a fixture. No optics talk, just real life. But here's the karma you've been waiting for. I ran into Jessica at the hardware store yesterday. She told me the latest on Vanessa. Vanessa is pregnant. And here's the kicker. Sterling wants a paternity test, but he's also broke. His wife took the house, the cars, and the portfolio. He's living in a studio apartment and managing a car rental branch at the airport. Vanessa isn't living the high life. She's working as a receptionist at a dental office, living in her parents' basement because Chloe kicked her out after 3 weeks. Apparently, when Vanessa told Sterling she was pregnant, expecting him to step up and be the provider she always wanted, he laughed at her. He told her, "Why would I build a family with you? You cheated on your fiancé to be with me. You're not exactly wife material, are you?" The irony is so thick you could choke on it. She called me simple. She called me not father material. Now, I'm building a real estate portfolio, sitting on a pile of cash I saved by not paying for a wedding to a cheater and sleeping like a baby every night. Meanwhile, she's got a baby on the way with a man who despises her, no career, and a reputation that's mud in this town. So, let me ask you this. Was I too harsh with the HR emails, or did she get exactly the level up she deserved? Let me know in the comments. And seriously, guys, if your partner ever talks down about your job or tries to hide you, don't wait for the dinner party. Just leave. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories where the trash takes itself out.